All right, everyone, we're gonna get going here. Thank you for joining. It's a beautiful Friday morning. This is Clint Carlos with Soar. I'm in just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, where we had a terrific 3 days with several dozen of our Soar Strengths evangelists in town. Kicked off Tuesday with a community service day. Went and did some amazing pro bono work at local schools and nonprofits, veterans groups, an addiction recovery facility. Just an amazing experience. Then we had about 150 local community leaders with the mayor and the chief of police and a bunch of leaders making a pledge to be a strengths-based community. Really an inspiring event. Just a great embrace by the community here. We're going to be doing these kind of strengths swarms all over the world, hopefully coming to your community and your town, and a lot of exciting things happening. Paul's joining us by phone for the first few minutes of this webinar. He's just transitioning from the airport in Utah, and will be joining us by video for the second part of the webinar. Paul, do you want to? Are you unmuted on your end? You want to say hi to everyone?
Yeah, can you hear me, Clint?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, hi everybody. Welcome to this webinar. We're super thrilled to have you join us. We're glad that you're trying out the Soar platform and look forward to deepening our relationship with you. Clint, as you said, the Arizona, the Gilbert Service Swarm and Strength Swarm was really, really inspiring. All of you who have been inspired by Leadership Rhode Island, leadership towards making Rhode Island the first strengths-based state, which many of you know is now about 5 years into that experiment. They've done such a terrific job, and they're really a role model and pattern for those of us who want to see strengths-based communities spring up all over the world. And so, maybe it won't take 5 years to turn your community into a strengths-based community, or your state or country into a strengths-based unit. It could take 5 months if you get the right people. And I think that was amazing. The evangelists down in Gilbert, Arizona, there's 4 evangelists in Arizona and a dozen or two pro coaches, pro members of SOAR, and quite a few other registered users of SOAR. And through their influence, they were able to bring together the mayor, the chief of police, head of a couple of chambers of commerce, the nonprofit leadership, faith groups, all together in one room, with the mayor giving a kickoff about Gilbert's moonshot experiment. And then, of course, those of us that are part of SOAR and part of the Strengths movement were able to present as well and talk about how do we get there? How do you transform schools and workplaces into places where people get to do what they do best? So I think we're all on a little high right now. And I know this webinar is for you and to explain more details about the benefits that you can receive as a member of the SOAR community. So we'll want to get into that. But I know, Clint, all of us that were there are kind of pinching ourselves thinking, wow, we were really present when this concept of a strength swarm was first realized. We had a really special guest visitor. I want everyone to realize that those of us in SOAR and those of us who've used to work with Gallup and those of us who've been trained by Gallup, we're kind of all trying to lock arms and say, what can we all do together? What role can we play? But we also have technology partners, investors in SOAR, amazing thought leaders that are advising us. So this is a collaborative effort. Well, one of the guests that we had yesterday is the founder of Startup Grind, and incredibly inspirational to think about. Startup Grind, a global effort to provide education and training to entrepreneurs all over the world, started in 2010 in a humble 5 or 10 person event, and pretty soon it was 80 people. And then in 2013, Derek Anderson, the founder of Startup Grind, got really serious about doing this. And today, millions of people have attended a Startup Grind event in over 650 cities around the world. There is a Startup Grind chapter. And the technology that Startup Grind uses to organize those events, to invite people, to get sponsors, to get featured attendees, to kind of spread the word and get visibility for those entrepreneurial events, that same platform is now being used by SOAR and our evangelists to organize events in scores of cities, soon hundreds of cities, and in our wildest dreams, thousands of cities around the world would have regular gatherings to bring leaders together, to bring influencers together, to embrace this beautiful strengths psychology, the strengths movement, and to help everyone live a better life by learning to play to their strengths every day. So we're super excited to welcome you. Our technology team and our product team, our business development team have been hard at work in the last 6 months. We're not a very old company, but as you can see when you log into our product, to our platform, lots of changes every week. Progress is being made. And so I think it's a good time, Clint, for you and others to update our Soar community on the exciting developments, the additional benefits that come with the Soar Premium membership. And so I'll turn the time over to you, Clint, to help walk everyone through the Soar platform and the latest updates, especially our kind of favorite feature, the Dream Client feature that everybody's been talking about.
Great, thank you, Paul. And we'll look forward to seeing you on video here when you get to your home office. Safe travels on the road. Thank you all for joining. I recognize many of the names. Many of us have had calls over the last few months and gotten to know each other. As you can observe in our startup, things are moving at a crazy pace, great pace, lots of progress. And so this webinar is a chance to kind of give everyone an update on the benefits and the resources that are available to you to help you be more successful as a coach, help you fulfill your mission greater, reach a greater audience, and coach with greater impact. So that's what we're going to be focused on today. I'm going to fire up a screen share and just share a couple of the things that may not have been readily apparent if you haven't been on the platform recently or haven't seen a recent guided demo. So someone give me a nod if you can see my screen. Okay, great. Thanks, Ron. I see you nodding. Awesome. So the first thing that I wanted to share is how you can be most visible on the platform. So let's talk about what the client experience is. Our client side traffic is growing at about 80% a month. So this is great news for you coaches looking and eager for clients. What I'll tell you is for you to be successful and for you to reach optimal exposure on the platform, you've got some work ahead of you to get your profile in a position where people are grabbed by your message and by your profile. The two ways that you'll be found on Soar are starting at the top of the platform. Individuals seeking coaching will come and say, I'm looking for a coach, or I want a coach. There are a number of categories here. These are kind of important to pay attention to. You're going to want to select your categories in a way that helps you identify and connect with your ideal target audience. As coaches, I know it's tempting to try to appeal to everyone, try to appeal to all audiences. We're going to encourage you to really lean in and focus on where you can have the greatest impact, because this is how you'll shine and how the clients who are perfectly matched for you will identify with who you are and what you can do for them. Most clients aren't looking for a generalist. They're looking for someone who can specifically meet their needs. The second way that a client will find you is through the coach search. So if they click on Find Your Coach, they're going to be given a search experience that lets them filter to various coaches on the platform. With thousands of coaches on the platform, the magic is when each client can find their perfect coach, and you can be easily found by your perfect client. Anytime someone runs a search on the platform, it's going to show the top 30 matches so that they're not super overwhelmed. Now they can filter by name, by location, by type of coach, by additional services such as speaking, curriculum design, training, facilitating. They can select whether they're looking for a corporate coach or an independent coach, and they can identify whether they're specifically looking for a Gallup certified strengths coach. We'll add other certifications here very soon. The goal for Soar is to be the platform for human development, regardless of where someone is in their life and what their needs are. So there may be folks looking for specific certifications around health and wellness or around, you know, financial coaching or career coaching. And so we want to make that easily findable. I'm going to point you to two things that are going to really affect your position in the search results. The first is, obviously, you see that the coaches who have upgraded a pro membership show up at the top of the search results. But the second thing that you can act on right away to boost your visibility is the number of reviews you have. So Michael shows up higher in the search results. The second thing that you'll notice is some of you might not see yourself in the search results at all, and there's a reason for that. If you don't have at least a minimal amount of information on your profile, so if you don't have a photo, and if you don't have a bio, you're not going to show up in the search results, just so that, you know, we don't want to poorly represent your brand and have you show up as though you're not serious about coaching. It also gives you a chance when you sign up as a new coach to complete your profile and get some of those things filled before people find your profile and are turned away. So if you're curious how you show up in search results, you might consider running a search based on location or type of coach, and you get familiar with how you show up in search results. Now, I'm going to just talk a little bit about keys to success on your profile. So as you're completing your profile, I would encourage you to, you know, consider it a living document, right? This isn't something you ought to create once and forget about and say, okay, I'm waiting for clients to find me. Consider this a tool to optimize your message to the world, and make sure that you're taking advantage of new benefits and new features over time and optimizing based on what you learn and feedback from clients. When you look at some of the other coach profiles, you'll get some good ideas around you know, what you could do to optimize your experience. So Travis is a coach in Virginia. I've just pulled up his profile. A couple of things that many of the coaches haven't taken advantage of. And by the way, I've interviewed many clients who have come to Soar looking for a coach. And what I've asked is, what are the keys to you determining to hire a coach? And the two things that really stand out are, number one, the reviews. So they're going to scroll down on your profile. They're going to read these reviews. What they want to hear in those reviews is some message that resonates with their circumstance, their challenges, their goals. If they can see that you've helped someone in a similar circumstance, you're going to instantly cross that credibility barrier, okay? The second thing that they're going to look for, which is the most important factor on your profile, is your video. Our evangelists have gone through a video workshop to get best practices and get comfortable being in front of a camera. You might say, gosh, I hate being on a webcam. I hate seeing myself on camera. We all feel that way. Trust me, it's nothing new. But for a client, just put yourself in the shoes of your client coming to your profile, not knowing you, right? If you meet someone in real life, they might have a chance to have a cup of coffee or get to know you, and they can instantly gauge whether there's going to be chemistry. But over the web, you know, they don't have that advantage. So they're relying almost exclusively on your videos to just gauge whether they're going to have any chemistry and want to work with you. So that chemistry factor is really important. Now you can see that Travis has selected these categories of coaching. That's how he'll show up in those category searches. When someone's ready to hire you or reach out to you, they're going to fill out this form, put in their phone number, email address, and a message. That will go directly to the email that you have on file with Soar. You can set your own prices and packages. You keep 100% of the revenue. There's no downside to your membership on Soar. So with that said, I'm going to point you quickly to a few new resources that I think are really significant benefits to being a member on Soar. Where you're going to find most of the resources is when you're logged in. At the upper right, there's an icon. You can see mine says C for Clint, right? Yours would have whatever your initial is, maybe even a thumbnail image. And in that drop-down menu, there are a number of resources here that you may not have seen before if you haven't been active looking through the platform and trying to get the most value. The dashboard is a place where you want to spend a lot of time getting familiar. The first tab here is how you'll know, if anything's missing on your profile. This tells me I'm missing an account headline. That's a critical piece of information. If you go back to the search results, you remember that some coaches had a headline that showed up in the list of coaches when there was a search result. That also shows up on your profile. So that's one piece of information that is seen multiple times in multiple places and can differentiate you from everyone else. So I should really go fix that. Now, if I click fix it, it'll take me to my edit profile page and encourage me to fix it. When you're ready to share your profile, there's a couple of things to be aware of. If you all have a designated URL that is yours, that people can find you directly and bypass search results. So if you want to promote your profile widely on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, through emails, in your email signature, this is the link you're going to want to share, because it's going to take people directly to you and bypass all the other coaches. Now, if you're talking to other coaches or peers, you're going to want to share this link down here. This is the affiliate link. As a member of Soar, you're automatically enrolled in the affiliate program, which means as you refer people to Soar, they become affiliated with you as having brought them to Soar. So over time, if they purchase services or software or goods from Soar, you'll get a commission, a recurring revenue share on that activity. So to get paid out on that, you're going to want to go into My Payments. I've already set mine up, even though I don't qualify as an affiliate, as an employee of Soar. But you would see a link here if you haven't set this up yet. This is how you'll connect your bank account so that you'll get paid instantly on earnings through Soar. This is also how you'll get paid when we roll out automated booking and let clients book directly, and we'll process that transaction and pay you out through that. So make sure you go check that out and set that up. Couple of new exciting resources that we wanted to share. One of them is for pro members, you get access to create team grids using our team grid automation tool. The way you'll do that is you'll just click this add a team grid button. You can upload a file. If you export, let's say, a Gallup, Excel file from the Gallup Strength Center and upload it, our system accepts that file format and it'll automatically create a team grid from that Excel spreadsheet. If you want to build one from scratch, you can download our sample spreadsheet, follow the template, upload it here, and then when you do that, you'll see those team grids that you've created show up here. I've created a couple of examples. I'll show you what those look like. It's a grid that many of you are familiar with. Now the difference with our team grids is that these are dynamic. So if I said I want to see whose strengths are the most like Caleb, I'm going to click on Caleb. He's going to go to the top. Now everyone on that list is sorted by how similar their strengths are to Caleb, all the way down to the least similar. I can also filter by strength simply by clicking on any of these. So if I had said I want to see who has connectedness, I click on that and I can do multiple if I want to see multiple filters. So this is going to get a lot more robust. We'll show you some ways that this is being used in other functions within the platform. But this is a great benefit to you, those of you that use team grids in your coaching. You'll save a little bit of time. You'll be able to create a dynamic experience where people can interact with these grids and share these out. So I'm going to move on to the dream client aspect. Now this is exciting because what we want to do is we want to spend our time in the most focused way to help you individually as a coach. So even as a free member, you can go to Dream Clients and start to build a list of the companies and the titles that you'd love to work with, okay? Now, as a pro member, you would benefit from us prioritizing your dream clients in our outreach. We've just brought on a new team of sales prospectors that get a dashboard alert every morning when there's a new company on a dream client list for a pro member, and they're going to actively reach out on LinkedIn and other platforms, find people within those companies that have some association to strengths, and then actively prospect into those organizations and try to develop leads and opportunities for you as a pro member on Soar. So I'll show you what that looks like. You can see I've added PF Chang, which is a big strengths-based organization, Zions Bank, Boeing, Dell, Walmart. When I've entered someone that we've already found leaders at those organizations who have an association with strengths, it'll show up with a link here. So I can click on Boeing and I can see who we've found at Boeing that has shared their strengths publicly, and I see a team grid of those individuals. Now, if I click show extended information, I can see that Andrew McMurray is in Mesa, Arizona. He's a senior strategic planner, and I can click directly through to Andrew's LinkedIn profile. So if you're really trying to penetrate an organization, this is an amazing tool where you can do some outreach, but we'll also be intentionally doing LinkedIn outreach and connecting with these individuals that have shared their strengths publicly, and we can engage in an easy conversation around how they discover strengths. Is it widely used in their organization? Are they doing coaching? You know, what kind of challenges are they facing? And then we will feed those leads and that information back to the pro members on Soar. So this is a really exciting benefit for pro membership that we'd encourage you to play around with. Even with your free membership, you can play around, build these lists, explore. And again, we'll prioritize those of you that are pro members so that you see those leads and connections showing up. Now, another new tool that I'll share with you that is a benefit is past clients. So what we would encourage you to do is come in here and say, who are the companies, where do the folks work that you've previously coached? This will be a great resource for, you know, cross promotion to those individuals, those companies. We'll start to see trends of where coaching happens, where people find budgets, and feed that back to you. We'll create, this will also, you know, feed some really amazing resources in our global strengths movement pages. So Paul, anything that you would want to add to what we've shared so far?
Just the fact that when you have coached someone at a well-respected brand, I know, for example, my friend Kathy has done work with VMware and Facebook, and when you're able to share that, those will soon go on your profile as well. And potentially you could put their logos of the companies that you've already done work for, and that's a very strong credibility element for you as a coach, that, you know, if you've worked with United Way in Detroit, and you can list that not just in your text bio, but also called out as, you know, featured clients that you have previously helped.
Yeah, this will definitely lend that extra layer of credibility to your work and your experience, and so that'll be a really robust feature. Now, if you said, okay, let's get active in that affiliate program, I want to see who I've referred and what's happened with that. You can see all of the folks that you've referred through the affiliate program here, what kind of membership they're on, and they'll show up down here. So if you're curious just how you'll be informed and be able to track that, that'll be a helpful resource. Now, this resources tab is a place where you can find a bunch of content and help and resources. So if you said, I want to follow the Soar YouTube channel, or contact the help desk, or you know, get insights and use a powerful networking tool called Shaper, you'd find these kind of links here. So to encourage you to check that out. Now, pro members have additional access to resources, and then the evangelists have even more access to resources. So just pay attention there. You'll see the things that are available to you. And I would encourage you to explore and make the most out of your experience there. A couple of other things that I wanted to point your attention to. One of them is going back to this kind of live community movement that Paul shared. And when he talked about what happened in Gilbert and what's happening in communities all around the world, we've built an live events community. So if you go to events.soar.com, or if you click to events from our homepage, you'll come here. You can join the community by entering your name, email, and you can tell us where you're located. And then whenever there's an event near you, you'll be invited to that event. Now, there's also an online chapter, so you may want to make sure that you click to join the online chapter so that you can be invited to all of the online events. But in the last 2 months, there have been over 60 live Soar events in communities around the country. These are, some of them are coach meetups, coach workshops. Pro members get, you know, free registration to all of the Soar sponsored events. Most of these events are led by our evangelists or in conjunction with Soar. If you wanted to see where we have live event chapters, you can scroll down here and jump into one of those specifically and see what's happening in those areas. And then the evangelists are also blogging on this platform. So if you wanted to find rich content, you could, come here and find great insights and resources to continue, learning and growing. So the live events community is really a powerful way that we will engage leaders in local communities. As I mentioned, some of these events are for coaches, but many of these events, the primary purpose of these events is to propel this strengths movement by creating magical moments where leaders around the world see the power of strengths and join events and say, okay, I want to bring this to my organization. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples. I was in Eastern Iowa just before the holidays, and our evangelist there, Tracy McCausland, put on a couple of events. Her focus was HR leaders. At each event, there was, upwards of 50 folks that joined, all HR leaders from the local community. It was a really powerful networking event where coaches got to connect with and meet with them. Also, a chance to hear best practices and the ways and the places and the audiences that are currently engaged in strengths. And so it was a really powerful effect for those folks to see that, strengths is alive and the movement is growing in their area, even if they don't see it. So part of what Soar's mission is to make that movement more visible to leaders and to clients around the world so that they engage with you as a coach. So this is a significant benefit for coaches. Coaches are walking away from these events with leads and connections and great learning to help improve and sharpen your business. Now, if we go back to the Soar, main Soar site, under this resources, under this menu, you'll also see webinars as an option. Now, the webinars are an ongoing learning and education opportunity for programmers. These are happening with top coaches all around the world and many of our evangelists, and bring practical tactics and grow your business and be successful. So I'll just show you some of the recent examples. Madeline talked about the power of video. If you've seen Facebook, Madeline is amazing at doing Facebook Live videos, and the videos have been hugely successful in helping drive people to her events and bring new opportunities to her coaching. There's another webinar by Adam Seaman on the critical factors to rolling out strengths, some pitfalls to avoid. Elisa Tello talked about coaching in the nonprofit sector. Many coaches, we're in this movement because we want to transform lives, and in the nonprofit sector, there's huge opportunities to do that. Oftentimes, though, we struggle to know how to earn a living doing that. So Elisa talks about how strengths and coaching come to life in the nonprofit sector. So Santor is one of our evangelists in the LA area. He did a webinar on coaching millennials and Gen Z leaders. He recently hosted an event about a week and a half ago in a little community called Ojai. It was a weekend retreat, 4 days. They had everyone pledge to check their cell phones and technology in and totally go off the grid for a few days. It was an amazing event on creativity and innovation. He had Ewan McGregor, the famous actor, keynote the event. He had Dermot Mulroney come and speak, and NASA engineers and inventors and creative people. They brought in the concepts of Lego Serious Play. So those are some of the events that our evangelists are putting together and making available to this global audience. Terry Johnson did a great webinar on using improv to engage your audience. I don't know if any of you have tried to do stand-up comedy or use improv, but it can be challenging, but it was really, really cool to hear that. Many of you know Maureen, and so she talked about the leveraging strengths and coaching in a corporate environment. So as you can see, there's great content here. Bria shared how she thought outside of the box and leveraged crowdfunding to fund her Gallup certification, but also simultaneously landed her first 100 clients. So a great way to think outside of the box. And so she shared those winning tips. We drop content in here occasionally as well from Paul's presentations at different events. This was from a retreat we did in just outside of Park City, Utah in the fall. And so there's some great resources here that as a pro member, you can benefit from, and we're committed to this ongoing, actionable, valuable content for you to continue to learn and grow. Because as a solopreneur and coach, it's often easy to get lost in the day-to-day and not take time to engage with others and connect and learn and invest in yourself. And so this is a significant benefit that you'll have as a pro member on Soar. Paul, anything that you want to touch on? Is Paul on? He might be transitioning to his home office. Let me show you one more exciting thing. If you said, how is Soar going to help bring strengths to my community? How will this bring more leaders and visibility to the movement? One thing you might pay attention to is this Global Strengths Movement link at the top of the platform. So I would encourage you to go explore, check that out. I'm going to show you just a couple of examples. So if you said, what is the strengths movement like in Arizona? You could click here and you'd say, hey, this is what's happening in Arizona. These are the evangelists in our state. These are the pro coaches in our state. These are the other coaches in our state. And more important than this, at the top of this page, there's a place for leaders and influencers and celebrities to endorse strengths. So if we were to go back to your dashboard, there's a place here for pro members and evangelists to submit names, strengths, and quotes and photos of strengths leaders in their community. So, if you're in Silicon Valley, you might know Mark Zuckerberg and say, let's put Mark Zuckerberg on this movement page, put his name, title, state, strengths, a quote from that leader, upload a photo, and then our team will review and add this to the movement page. Because as you get CEOs and governors and mayors and presidents of universities endorsing the strengths movement in your community, and your face is on that page as a coach in that community, you're going to add legitimacy to this message that you're bringing and the power that it has to your community. Paul, I see that you're back on. You might be muted. Matt, I've got Matt Cullinane in the background here fielding questions on the chat. Any questions, Matt, that we ought to address?
Just scrolling through, some people have asked for some tips on their videos and just wondering what kind of feedback we give and how we give that to pro coaches.
Absolutely. So videos, the question was, some coaches have asked about videos and how to be successful with that. Let me give you a couple of tips. So if you go back into this search experience, watch some of these videos. You'll learn something from watching other coach videos. Couple of keys. The first key is you've got to grab people in the first 10 seconds of your video. The second key is we're so tempted and kind of taught through society to talk about ourselves first. I would highly encourage you, for your own benefit, to talk about your clients first. Share a story of impact that a client has experienced and the outcome that they've had. Speak directly to your audience. And don't get pulled into the temptation of telling everyone how great you are and your background. Focus, if you show that you care about them by talking directly to them and the benefits that they'll receive, you'll have far greater success. A couple of other keys to success. I'm going to pull up Rhonda's video as an example. Now, some of the coaches have gone into studio or had a creative friend that's helped them put together a video. Rhonda, it represents 90% of the coaches on the platform who've just gotten in front of a webcam, but it works, right? And the key to these videos is authenticity, right? You don't want to script something and do it in a studio in such a way that folks, don't feel like it's really you. The outcome for these videos is to establish chemistry with your clients. So just speaking directly and being authentic helps. Now, Rhonda did a great job with a couple of things, and I'll play a couple of seconds of her video.
Well, hey there, everybody. My name is Rhonda Boyle, and I am with RhondaBoyle.com.
So I'm just going to share a couple of tips right away. So Rhonda, I would coach Rhonda to focus first on her clients, right? So that's the one thing that we've learned is focusing on that client message, speaking directly to them would have been a better opener. However, what's great about Rhonda's video is she's got good lighting, she's got a crisp video quality, she's got good sound, so that, you know, there's no challenge. Now, another recommendation that I have for you is to, when you post your video to YouTube, right, that's how you'll get it on your profile. You'll post it to YouTube, then you'll share the link in the edit profile section, and I can show you that in a moment. Run it through the tool on YouTube that will add captions to your video. What we know is that, you know, over 80% of people are mobile first in browsing the internet, and most people, when they're watching videos, they don't start with the sound on. So there's a good chance that your clients watching your video won't hear the sound at all. And if that's the case, you're gonna wanna make sure that there are captions on the video. If you've never used YouTube's tool, they've got an easy tool. You simply upload the video and click to add captions. It'll add captions for you. You can edit them just to make sure that the grammar's right. And then we'll be good to go. So let me just pause my screen share, and I think when Paul switched over, he got muted, so I'm gonna just unmute him real quick. Give me 1 second, gotta find him. We got 94 participants on today. Really appreciate you joining. There we go. Okay, Paul, you are unmuted, my friend. Sorry about that.
Good to be back.
Awesome. We can hear you, Paul.
Okay, well, keep going.
Okay, great. So, so captions on the video, focus on your clients, good lighting, and be authentic, okay? You know, we brought in a professional trainer this week for our evangelists, a guy who has 20 years experience with Covey, great communication expert. And what he taught us about videos was you're never any good until you've done about 50 of them. So just go shoot a bunch of video, discard the ones you don't like. After doing it repetitively, you'll start to feel comfortable. You know, sometimes it helps to if you want to use a teleprompter or you know, put an iPad up in the background you can read. But again, authenticity is the key, so you don't want to diminish that. But just practice, 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 practice. Practice makes perfect, right? We will encourage evangelists to come into your community and host video workshops similar to what we did at the evangelist training. These video workshops have already been done in Boston and in Arizona, led by evangelists. We've heard that they've been very helpful in just getting over that kind of brain block, you know, from wanting to do videos. Don't let it scare you. I'll tell you what, there's no video that you could post that would be worse than not having a video. So if you want to, if you don't want to get anything out of Soar, the best way to do that is to not spend time investing in getting reviews and not post a video, because the first thing that a client will do when they get to your profile is move on to the next coach. So really, really can't emphasize that enough. Now to edit your profile, just in case some of you haven't seen it, you're going to go to this drop-down menu, click on Edit Profile, and this will take you. Now this page is important. You want to make sure that you've got a phone number in here, and preferably your mobile number. When we get a client lead that doesn't fill out the form on your platform, we're most likely to send that lead to you through text message, because what we've learned is if you can respond within the first 5 minutes of a client inquiry, your odds of landing that client are 23 times greater. 23 times greater. So, I mean, this is everything. Make sure your mobile number's in there. We'll often, you know, send you text message surveys and questions. This isn't just for our fun. When we do this, we're inquiring about specific background experience on behalf of large enterprise clients and strategic partners that are looking for coaches with certain experience or background. So the way you'll qualify for those kind of subcontracting opportunities will be to make sure that you respond and provide us with the data around your experience and background in those areas, so that we can tell those clients, hey, you know, Keith Dorsch is experienced in this area, and so is Tanya Long and Joe Self and Ron Orr. So that's how you'll get a lot more opportunity. Now the edit profile section is on the second tab here. This is where you'll post the link to your YouTube video. This is where you'll put in the headlines. If you said, our examples that we provide you really aren't the best. I don't like this guide because it starts by saying I, right? It really should be you. So you speak to your ideal client. Say, you are a female executive in a multicultural environment and I can help. So that would be a much better headline than the sample headline here. Now there's an about me section and a personal bio. Again, our prompts encourage you to talk about yourself. You really ought to talk about the clients you've helped. So if there was content that I would encourage you to share here, it would be share 2 or 3 examples of clients. Give us a little context of you don't share their name necessarily, but say recently worked with a client who was experiencing this and this when this client wanted to get to this point, and these are the things we did, and this was the model we followed to get there, and these are the outcomes that the client experienced. When you speak in those terms, I'm going to be honest, it's a lot easier to do this messaging. None of us like talking about ourselves and bragging, but we're just kind of hardwired to do that. When you start talking about the clients you work with and the benefits you provide them, you will shine to clients coming to the platform, and they will be much more likely to want to hire you. Now, I mentioned earlier that the way people will find you in the category search up here is based on the categories you designate, okay? So if someone's looking for a personal development coach, the way you'll let them know you're a personal development coach is to come down here and type in personal development coach. Click that. Now you'll be visible in those searches. So the temptation might be, well, I'm going to click all of them, and then I'll be visible in all the searches. Certainly you want enough to be visible, but you don't want so many to where you don't look credible or focused, okay? Because for a client, for you to appear credible, they want to know that, again, you specialize in the areas that they're looking for. So keep it modest. I would say no more than 3 to 5 categories, but enough to be visible. Now, if you also do consulting, public speaking, training, instructional design, designate that here in this other box, because when those kind of projects come up, our quick and only way to identify you as someone who provides those services is that you've shared that information with us. So just to reiterate, as you think about your experience with Soar, there's a number of things you can do right today to enhance your experience and get more visibility, get more out of the platform. Part of it is just being active, get involved, invest in your profile, invest in your own brand. You want to make sure people know you're open for business. If they show up and you haven't really spent much time, they're going to feel like you're not taking this serious. You might not be a full-time coach. You might not be invested in what they're looking for. Now, there are many benefits to becoming a pro member as well. We talked about higher visibility in the search results. If you want to show up top in your category, top in your area, the key to get there is get a pro membership and get a bunch of reviews. Then you'll show up at the top of the list, and you'll get many more leads through Soar. The second benefit to the pro membership for you is the opportunity to engage in a community of like-minded folks near you that share your struggles, share your triumphs. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Many of you, this is the first time you're a solopreneur working on your own. And for your own well-being, being part of a community, being connected to others will make a significant difference in your life. I know that because as an entrepreneur, when I've been isolated and on my own, it becomes challenging, and you run into roadblocks and barriers. So having a community support really means a lot, and you can be part of that community as a pro member on Soar, and by joining the live events near you and the online events, you'll get significant benefit from that. The third benefit to the pro membership for you is the opportunity to continue to learn and grow, right? I'm an experiential learner. Some of you are, more cerebral learners. There's different ways that we're going to provide content and opportunities and learning for you. One of those is through those pro webinar series, but there's additional content and resources coming that will make sure that you have opportunities to learn and grow. And clearly one of the primary benefits of the pro membership is the prioritization of having your dream clients on the top of our radar. Because when our sales team wakes up in the morning and they don't know who your dream clients are, or they're not focused on your dream clients, they're going to go out and contact hundreds or thousands of other people that may or may not be well suited to be your clients. So if you want to be in the top of that funnel and have your dream clients on the top of our prioritization list, that pro membership will go a long ways in helping direct our efforts and guide our team to be most impactful for you. So if you want to take advantage of that pro membership, you can go today. We've posted the pro membership price with our new discounted rate. That's good through January 21st. It's $14.99 if you pay the year in advance. It's $199 a month. Alternatively, we are committed to helping grow this movement. We're committed to serving you. If you're not successful, we're not successful. And these benefits are going to continue to grow with time. But we, regardless of where, when, and how this happens, we really honor and respect and value you as members of this community, because for us to fulfill our mission of reaching 1 billion lives someday through strengths and coaching, you've all got to be tremendously successful. So with that, I'm just going to thank you for your time. I'm going to give Paul a few minutes to share his thoughts, and then we can maybe tackle 1 or 2 more questions here, and we'll certainly get to more questions as we have time. Paul, you're on mute. Let me just see. Let me just make sure Paul's not muted here again. Sorry, guys. There you go, Paul.
Okay, thank you, Clint. It's not a good feeling to be muted by the platform. That's the opposite of what platforms are supposed to do. So I'm unmuting my phone, and it says, sorry, you can't unmute. So people have been asking questions. One about international. I'm holding a big event in London or near London on May the 13th, if that's a Monday. I'll be on a week in Russia before that. And I'm also looking at New Zealand, Australia. We definitely want to be global. Philippines, India, there's a lot of strengths, movement, leadership going on in those countries. It's very inspiring. And so as time and circumstances permit, we will be heading around the world. We do have the chance to train our coaches, actually our pro members have the chance to train young African leaders from 49 different countries this summer under a State Department contract that is being made available to qualified coaches around these 28 universities. So that's one of the most exciting big projects that the Soar platform is providing to a select number of coaches so far. But we are globally minded. We have employees that speak many languages. We specifically want to connect with people in every country with all languages. This is an inclusive global movement. I just want to wrap up, Clint, with a couple of things. Those of you who've been to the Gallup Strength Summits, the Clifton Strength Summits, it's a life-changing experience to have 800 or 1,500 people that are like-minded, that are mission-driven in the same room for 2 or 3 days. I can't imagine a world where a year goes by where I'm not attending the Clifton Strength Summit. We're going to be avid supporters of it, as long as I can be there. If there's, barring any emergency, I'll be there every year. But imagine a weekly retaste of that Clifton Strength Summit, these weekly webinars, these local mastermind groups that our pro members are joining. It's a chance to extend that incredible feeling and the insights that you gain in that kind of waterfall, that fire hydrant of information for 2 or 3 days. It's a chance to extend that year round. We have some of the same experts doing webinars that have been presenting at the Gallup Summits. And it's really a wonderful thing, as Clint said, to be a part of this community. Now, the word platform has something to do with launching rockets. And if you're like many coaches that I've become really close friends with, you're hoping that you can have a livelihood around coaching so that you can do this for the rest of your life And you'd love to get to the point where business is coming to you, referrals, constant, flood of qualified people that already desire to hire you. And that's really a kind of a wonderful state for coaches to get in. But a platform is a way to launch towards that objective. If you don't have clients filling up your calendar today, join the platform, join the community, learn best practices, get initial clients, and then transition into that kind of nirvana where you've got more clients than you can handle, lots of referrals, a growing reputation, and then maybe you'll still want to stay with the platform because the recurring revenue model that is baked into Soar might be a reason to stay on the Soar platform, even if you've got a tremendous number of clients. Now, I have to say, Clint, I have to correct you because Joe Thomas, this world-renowned communication expert, is constantly in my head. And a minute ago, Clint, you said something. You said, on your profile, talk about a recent client and the impact that your coaching had on them. And that's true, but you don't refer to clients or customers as clients or customers. Joe taught us yesterday, and it really resonated with me, that you call them by the title they want to be called by. If they're a CEO and that's what they like to be referred to, then say, a CEO who worked with me recently had this tremendous outcome from our 6-month coaching engagement. An HR manager, a multicultural global executive in sales. Don Clifton always said you should be referred to by the name you prefer to be called at work. And likewise, when we're talking about our customers and our clients that we serve, none of them want to be called a customer or a client. That's not how they see themselves. And so, Clint, sorry, I just had to say that because we are all trying to learn how to focus our language on customers, and that includes what they prefer to be called. And so,
great point, Paul. I'm really glad you corrected
vocabulary.
That stood out to me in yesterday's training as well. We're so tempted to just fall into the calling people what we want to call them, and none of them like to be called client. None of you like to be called a customer or a client. And so why would your clients and customers like to be called that? So great point, Paul.
Yeah. Okay, final thought. In addition to like the year-round feeling of the Clifton Strength Summit, being part of the Soar community, which is a really wonderful thing. In addition to that, you actually have abundant expert people who are joining Soar, that are becoming evangelists, that are becoming pro members, who are offering help and providing it. Rhonda, oh my goodness, she's doing so many spotlight interviews. Madeline has offered to privately teach evangelists how to do video, and she'll practice with them, even in Spanish as well as English. And so what you're finding, we've had an amazing videographer, cameraman that came down on his own accord to Arizona to film and now start editing video for us. He's hoping to be able to do some paid work for some of you, but the community and the feeling of mission that we all have is something that we really hope you'll take advantage of and be a part of it. And each of you that have expertise, you may be a fantastic event planner or a wonderful networker, or maybe you've worked in a direct sales industry before, and some other coaches have no idea how those industries work. You could be featured in a webinar. This is a community global effort to uplift humanity through strengths and through strengths coaching and through all other types of coaching and human development. So it's a big mission, it's a moonshot, but the word platform, the word Soar kind of indicate where we all hope to be going together. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. And we took a vote yesterday on kind of the next 10 or 12 things that evangelists would like us to build into the platform. And now our team is rallying around those priorities. But likewise, if you're a pro member, reach out to us, talk to us, email us, text us, schedule time with Rhett, Matt, and Clint, and let us know what you need that we haven't done yet. We're going to be ultra responsive. We're a very lean, agile startup. We can change priorities when we hear that you want us to do something different. So thanks for being a part of this, and thanks for being a part of our community. We really admire and appreciate each one of you.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Really echo that sentiment. It's been great spending time with you. We've shared a couple of links in the chat. If you have questions individually or want more feedback or help, schedule a time using the meeting link that you saw, and you'll get on the schedule automatically with a member of our team who can help answer questions and help make sure you have a great experience. So really appreciate you all joining today.